60 days. In just 60 days, I've completely rebuilt my body, right from the atomic level. The world looks up at the mountains and sees the constant flashes of lightning as some new, terrifying natural disaster. They tremble, they report, they study it from a distance, but they have no idea. That isn't a disaster. That's just my warm-up. Now, with the preliminary work done, it's time to awaken the true power. The power that separates a mere mortal from a true cultivator. The first two realms, the organ and blood realm and the skin and bone realm, were all about forging the vessel, shaping the clay. Organ, blood, skin, and bone. I pushed them to the absolute pinnacle of perfection, sealed every opening, and made this body unbreakable. But an empty vessel, no matter how perfect, is still just an empty vessel. Now I fill it. The time has come to generate ki not from the world around me, but from my own perfected flesh. It's time to awaken the spirit that will guide that ki, the very core of my consciousness. Yes, Master. Your understanding is correct. It is much better you use the energy or ki that was refined into your body because it has become a unique ki that only you now possess. The ki and spirit realm is the critical bridge between the physical and the metaphysical. It is in this realm that you will generate your very first strand of true internal ki, but that's only half the process. Simultaneously, you will awaken your spiritual sense, a form of consciousness that exists beyond the confines of your physical brain. It's crucial that these two aspects, your ki and your spirit, are developed in perfect tandem. One cannot outpace the other. Any imbalance would be catastrophic. So, what's the roadmap? How many steps does this bridge have? There are 10 minor steps to cross this realm. For each step, you are required to generate a complete, independent cycle of ki, guiding it through your entire meridian network from start to finish. At the same time, with each successful cycle, you must expand your spiritual awareness by a factor of 10. One complete cycle, one tenfold expansion of consciousness. This realm is a notorious bottleneck for cultivators. It's the stage where most fail, either by creating weak, impure ki that will limit their future, or by developing a fragile spirit that can shatter under pressure. The harmony is everything. But that's for most cultivators. What about for me? What's my prognosis? For you, Master, the equation is different. Your omniversal understanding provides you with the perfect, flawless blueprint for this process. You know the path instinctively. And your cosmic supreme body acts as the perfect engine, capable of generating the purest ki without strain or error. Your progress will not be a struggle against a failure. It will be systematic and perfect. The estimated time required for you to complete each minor step is a mere 10 minutes of focused cultivation. 10 minutes a step, 10 steps in total. That's 100 minutes. Less than 2 hours to complete a realm that takes other people, the gifted ones, years. And that's if they even survive the attempt. The risks that cripple them are non-existent for me. The balance they struggle to find is my starting point. All right? There's no point in waiting. Let's begin. Step 1. My mind sinks, my senses turning inward. The perfected machinery of my body hums to life. I feel the first spark, a tiny nebula of energy born from my own cells. It's pure, potent, and eager. I guide it not with force but with intent. It flows through the first meridian, then the second, a river of light carving its path through my core. As the ki flows, my consciousness expands. The cave around me becomes a part of me. I feel the vibrations of the rock, the slow drip of water, the air currents. Step 1. Complete. Step 2. The ki flow strengthens. The cycle completes faster. My awareness pushes further, beyond the stone, feeling the trees on the mountainside, the life within them. Step 3. Step 4. My consciousness now covers the entire mountain peak. I can feel the wind as if it were my own breath. Step 5. The cycle is effortless now, a self-sustaining orbit of power within me. My spiritual sense touches the clouds. Step 6. Step 7. Step 8. The river of ki is now a raging torrent, yet perfectly under my control. My awareness blankets the entire mountain range. Master, a moment. Your spiritual emissions, while completely contained by the defensive barriers you've erected, are creating a subtle resonant frequency in the surrounding area. It's a side effect of your rapid expansion. The scouting parties from the city below. They have halted their advance about 15 miles out from your position. Their field reports are becoming erratic. They are reporting intense, inexplicable feelings of being watched, accompanied by a primal fear they cannot identify. They're convinced some apex predator is nearby. They're abandoning their scouting mission and setting up a permanent observation camp at a safe distance. My eyes remain closed, my voice perfectly steady, untouched by the external world. They feel the shadow of an awakening predator. They're not wrong. They just don't comprehend the scale of what they're sensing. They're like mice feeling the tremble of a dragon stirring in its lair. Their fear is a testament to my progress. Ignore them. Their observations are irrelevant. We proceed to the final step. On the 60th day, minor step 10, initiating. Inside Kai's Danshin. The once roaring river of Ki has swelled into a roiling, internal sun, a tidal wave of brilliant, cosmic energy, compressed and waiting. It completes its 10th, perfect, silent circuit, and the final gear of the great machine locks into place. His spiritual sense, no longer content with its boundaries, expands explosively. The very fabric of his pocket dimension groans, stretched thin like a drum skin. Kai begins to speak that the vessel is full. Overflowing. The final step isn't a step at all, it's a flood. The Cosmic Tao Codex sends a warning saying, the final spiritual expansion will momentarily exceed the dimensional boundaries of your pocket realm. And containment is impossible. A feedback pulse of pure consciousness will be emitted into the external world. A faint, confident smile plays on Kai's lips. I can't stop it, it's the nature of the breakthrough. A king announcing his coronation, completed. Kai's spiritual sense hits its peak. For a single terrifying second, it blooms outwards like the flash of a supernova. It punches through his realm's multi-layered barriers and camouflage as if they were smoke. Outside the mountains, a silent, invisible shockwave of pure perception expands from the mountain range. It doesn't move trees or rocks, but it washes over every living thing, a psychic tsunami. The scouting party, 15 miles away, the lead scout, a grizzled veteran named Marcus, is looking through high-powered binoculars. The wave hits. He drops the binoculars and falls to his knees, vomiting violently. Another, a young tech specialist named Lena, screams, clawing at the sides of her head. It's in my mind. It's looking at me. It knows my name. They're pack animals, bred for hardiness, panic and bolt, scattering supplies across the rocky terrain. The entire camp descends into chaos, gripped by an unassailable primal terror. Jox is on watch atop a precarious pile of rubble that was once a skyscraper. The pulse washes over him. He freezes mid-step. His blood runs cold. It's not a sound, not a sight, but an overwhelming, instinctive sensation of a vast calm. An utterly ancient eye opening in the distant mountains and glancing his way for less than a nanosecond. It is a look of such profound power and indifference that it makes him feel like an ant. He begins to sweat profusely, his knuckles white where he grips his rifle. From inside their makeshift shelter, Reed says, Jox? You okay? You're white as a sheet. What's wrong? Jax's voice trembling, unable to look away from the mountains. Did you feel that? Like something woke up. Something that was sleeping for 1,000 years just opened its eyes. Back inside the realm, the spiritual sense retracts as quickly as it expanded, settling into a perfect, stable sphere of awareness that now encompasses his entire realm and presses gently, knowingly against its borders. The Codex begins to speak. Minor Step 10, complete. Key and Spirit Realm Peak achieved. System notification. Spiritual sense has evolved into Cosmic Omni-Awareness. Kai opens his eyes. They are deep, tranquil pools of starlight. I can feel every root in the soil, every drop of dew on a leaf. I can track the flight of every insect and feel the vibration of its wings. I can sense the molecular stability of my barriers. And the lingering, acrid taste of fear from the men 15 miles away. It's absolute clarity. The domain stewards send a notification. The spiritual feedback has caused significant physical and psychological distress to the observers. They are in disarray. However, Masto, the energy signature of your completed realm, is precipitating the tribulation. The resonance is calling it forth. I know. He looks up, his gaze piercing the sky of his realm. I can feel the void forming above us. Bigger this time, hungrier. Outside the realm, the sky above the mountain tears open again. The void is wider, a gaping wound in reality. The chaotic cosmic lightning within it is more violent, a furious storm of liquid gold, cobalt blue, and pure, terrifying silver. It churns, gathering an unimaginable amount of energy. The observation camp. Scouts look up, their personal terror momentarily forgotten. They see this new celestial fury, a spectacle that dwarfs the previous events. Lena, shaking, fumbles for a military-grade recording device, her earlier fear now mixed with a desperate scientific awe. "No one is going to believe this," she whispers. Inside the realm, Kai stands up, his body a pillar of calm in the heart of his sanctuary. He doesn't brace himself, he doesn't raise a shield. He opens his arms wide, a gesture of absolute welcome. Kai's voice is calm, but resonates with power that makes the air hum. This one isn't for sealing the body. It's for baptizing the spirit and sanctifying the K. "Come, show me the power that governs the cosmos." 3 distinct, impossibly thick bolts of catastrophic cosmic lightning spear down. One of liquid gold, one of searing cobalt blue, one of pure, radiant silver. They are not random. They are targeted. They strike him simultaneously, the golden bolt on the crown of his head, the silver bolt into his dantian, and the blue bolt directly into his heart. This time Kai lets out a roar that shakes the very air of his realm. It is not a roar of pain, but of raw, unrestrained power and glorious awakening. The sound itself is a pressure wave, flattening the grass in a perfect circle around him. The lightning performs its divine work with terrifying precision. The silver bolt fuses with his internal ki, turning it from mere energy into cosmic ki, a programmable, foundational force of creation. The blue bolt tempers his spiritual sense, his cosmic omni-awareness, forging it into an unbreakable, incorruptible tool of perception and will. The gold bolt acts as the final binding agent, weaving the two together, creating an inseparable, symbiotic link between his energy and his consciousness. The codex notification pops out: Realm 3 Key and Spirit Realm. Status: Absolute Peak. Sealed. Spiritual Root. Activated. Key Quality: Cosmic. Foundation: Perfected. The light fades. Kai stands in the center of the circle of flattened grass, steam rising from his skin. He slowly lowers his arms and looks at his hands, which now carry a faint, almost imperceptible luminescence. He has been reforged. The storm above the mountain peak shattered. The violent, crackling curtain of black and purple lightning, which had torn the sky asunder, finally collapsed inward, drawn back into the one who had commanded it. Kai hung suspended in the air, a foot above the scorched earth of his new domain. The residual energy of the cosmic tribulation lightning danced across his skin, not as a destructive force, but as a familiar, almost gentle hum. He looked different. His eyes, once brown, now held the depth of a star-filled nebula. His hair was a shade darker, his posture radiating a calm, unshakable confidence. He drifted down, his bare feet touching the ground with a silence that defied physics. The world around him seemed to breathe in time with his own heartbeat. He raised his hand, palm up. In the center, a vortex of energy began to swirl. It wasn't just light. It was a miniature galaxy. A sphere of swirling starlight and dark matter, held in perfect, obedient suspension. This was his key, reforged, reborn. The cosmic key. It pulsed with a power so immense it felt like holding the birth of a universe in his hand. Kai looked at the swirling orb, a slow, satisfied smile spreading across his face. "This is power," he whispered, his voice resonating with a newfound depth. "Not just strength, authority. The authority to create, to shape, to define reality itself. With this key in my spirit, I can truly begin." A serene, synthesized voice echoed through the domain, emanating from the very fabric of the space itself. It was the domain steward, the AI governing his personal realm. "Congratulations, Master. You have successfully completed the mortal tempering stage. Your foundation is now absolute. The next realm, key formation and transformation, is where you will define the very nature of your power. It is the most critical stage. The path you choose now will dictate to your future for millennia. What will your key become?" Kai closed his hand, and the miniature galaxy vanished, absorbed back into his body. He turned his gaze toward the shimmering, invisible boundary of his domain, looking out into the real world beyond. "It will become everything," he said, his tone firm, leaving no room for doubt. "But first, we've drawn enough attention. This little light show of mine probably lit up every satellite and energy sensor within 1,000 miles. Before I dive into formation, it's time to use the other part of my power. He closed his eyes and focused inward. A new wellspring of knowledge and ability had awakened within him, the cosmic creator of formations. It was an innate understanding of the universe's fundamental architecture. Golden, ethereal light poured from his eyes as they snapped open. The air filled with phantom blueprints, intricate schematics of runes and geometric patterns flashing into existence. He wasn't designing a defensive barrier or a simple trap. He was thinking bigger. He was creating a story. The scouts out there are a symptom, Kai explained, his hands moving through the air as if sculpting the phantom runes. The world is curious, and anything it doesn't understand, it fears. Then it tries to control it, or destroy it. We can't have them sniffing around here while I am in the middle of the most crucial part of my cultivation. So let's give them something to find. Something that will keep them busy, and lead them far, far away from our real front door. He walked toward the farthest edge of his domain, a section designed to look like a weak point, a camouflaged back door in the mountain's rock face. He plunged his hand into the earth. His newly forged cosmic key flowed from his fingertips into the ground. It wasn't a violent eruption, but a delicate, precise infusion. The ground began to shimmer, the very rock and soil transmuting under his command. Slowly, majestically, a structure began to rise from the earth. It wasn't grand or imposing. It was a small, ancient-looking stone archway, barely tall enough for a person to walk through. It looked weathered, and with the help of Creator of Realms made a pocket dimension, as if it had stood there for 1,000 years, covered in moss and eroded by time. But across its surface, a network of complex runes pulsed with a faint, ethereal glow. Kai had intentionally diluted the cosmic energy, stepping it down to a level that would seem powerful to mortals, but fundamentally understandable. It was the perfect piece of bait. A Grade F dungeon gate, Kai stated, analyzing his handiwork. Perfect. It will emit a low-level, but persistent, energy signature. Just enough to explain all the weird phenomena they've been detecting. It'll even produce some weak, low-tier monsters and a few trivial pieces of loot. Nothing dangerous, but just enough to be enticing. It's a bone for the dogs to fight over. It will lead them, and anyone else who comes looking, in circles for months, maybe even years. The domain steward's voice returned, calm and analytical. A clever misdirection master. Deployment through the tertiary camouflage layer is complete. The gate is now visible and detectable to all external senses and instruments. The scout party's equipment is already registering the energy spike. Their data streams indicate a shift from panic and confusion to excitement. Miles away, in a makeshift observation camp hidden in the forest canopy, controlled chaos was turning into jubilation. A young technician ripped his headphones off. "Captain, I've got it. The energy signature just stabilized." "It's not a weapon. It's a gate. A stable, localized energy phenomena. The readings are off the charts, but they're consistent." The team leader, a woman in her late 20s with a serious expression, rushed over to his console. "A gate? Are you sure, Ben?" "Positive. Look at the spectral analysis. It matches theoretical models for a dungeon entrance. A brand new, undiscovered dungeon." A wave of relief and excitement washed over the camp. The terrifying, world-ending storm was gone, and in its place was the discovery of a lifetime. A young woman with mapping gear grinned. "We're going to be famous. First discovery of a new gate in this sector in a decade." They were celebrating, completely oblivious that the godlike being they had feared was cultivating silently just a few hundred meters away, listening to their cheers with a wry smile. Kai turned his back on the illusory gate and the celebrating scouts. Good. Let them have their little dungeon. Let them have their fame and their trivial treasures. He walked back to the center of his domain, the place where his spiritual energy was most concentrated. "I have universes to form inside of me." He sat down, crossing his legs in a meditative posture. He looked inward, not at the physical world, but at the raging, star-filled sea of cosmic ki churning within his dantian. As his consciousness sank deeper, a vast, ethereal book materialized in his mind's eye, the Cosmic Tao Codex. Its pages were infinite, filled not with words, but with living concepts, showing the endless possibilities for his ki. He could forge it into a sun, a black hole, a sword that could cut reality, a shield that could withstand the end of time. A determined smile touched Kai's lips. The real challenge, the true beginning of his journey, was here. Now, he breathed, his voice filled with anticipation. The real work starts. Realm 4, Key Formation and Transformation. Time to build my engine. The world outside faded away. Inside the tranquil, silent space of his domain, Kai descended into a state of profound meditation. In the core of his being, within the sea of cosmic energy, the first intricate patterns of light began to spin. A nascent, impossibly complex structure started to take shape, the foundation of a power that would one day shake the heavens. Outside, the world remained blissfully unaware. The scouts celebrated their discovery, their voices echoing through the forest, never knowing they were merely puppets dancing in the shadow of a true god who was just beginning to build his throne. Thanks for staying till the end. If you enjoyed, then hit that like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss the next one.